Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello, my dear students in 5th grade. Our lesson today is the circumference of a circle. Okay, what is the circumference? What's the meaning of the circumference? Circumference of the circle is the perimeter. It's the perimeter. It's the length of the covered line outside. Okay. First, let's make a quick revision on some perimeter we studied before. The perimeter of a square equals the side length multiplied by 4. Do you remember? It's side multiplied by 4. Okay, the perimeter of the rectangle, it's length plus width times 2. Okay, and the perimeter of any triangle equal the sum of side lengths. The sum of side lengths. And the perimeter of a rhombus also, it's side by 4 because it's like a square. All sides are equal in length. Okay, so the circumference of the circle is the length of the curved line that represent the circle. Can you see the curved line outside? This is the circumference. So the circumference of the circle is the length of the curved line that represent the circle. Okay, do you remember this point called center? M, say M, center of the circle, and there is a radius, which is a line segment joined between the center of the circle and any line, any point on the circle, and the diameter, which is a line segment joining between any 2 points on the circle. And there is a relation between radius and diameter. Diameter is twice the radius, okay? And radius is half diameter. It's diameter divided by 2. So here, if the radius is 4, so the diameter is 8. If the diameter is 10, so the radius is 5. Okay. Now, what is the circumference of the circle? There is a rule to get the circumference of the circle. C equals, which is circumference, equal pi times d. Pi times diameter. Just take pi. Pi, what is pi? Pi is a Greek letter. Pi, it's called pi, is a Greek letter, and it's a constant value. Pi is 3.14 in the decimal form, or pi equals 22/7. It's the same, but here it's in the decimal form and here in the fraction form, and it will be given in the problem. So pi is a constant value, d is the diameter of the circle, okay? And as you know, d is twice the radius, so I can cancel d and put, instead of it, I can put 2r, so it will be pi times 2r, and I can write it as 2 pi times r. So there are two rules to get the circumference. The first is pi times d, pi times the diameter. The second is c equals 2 pi times r. Okay. This triangle will help me to get the circumference. If you want the circumference, it's pi times d. Circumference pi times d. If you want the diameter, it's circumference divided by pi. Circumference over pi. So d is circumference over pi. If you want pi, it's circumference over d. Circumference over d. The second rule, if we put 2r instead of diameter, circumference over 2 pi, circumference equals 2 pi times r. Circumference equal 2 pi times radius, which is the radius length. If you want to get the radius length of a circle, it's circumference over 2 pi. It's circumference over 2 pi. Okay, 2 pi here, it's circumference over r, or pi is circumference over 2 times radius length. pi equals circumference over 2r. So pi is circumference over d, or pi equals circumference over 2r. It's the same because d is equals twice the radius length. Okay. Now, example 1. Find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 21 centimeter long. Again, there is two rules to get the circumference of the circle. The first is circumference equals pi times diameter length. The second is circumference equals 2 pi times r, the radius length. So, number A, the given here is the diameter. So I'm going to use the first rule. So circumference equals pi, consider, look, it's given, always pi is given in the exercise, the problem. So pi, circumference equals pi, I'm going to write the rule, times d equals pi is 22 over 7 multiplied by the diameter, which is 21, equals, I can simplify, divided 7 equals 1, divided 7 equals 3, 22 times 3 is 66 centimeter, only centimeter, not centimeter squared. It's circumference, it's like a perimeter. Number B, find the circumference of a circle of radius length 10. So I have radius length, so I'm gonna use the second rule. Or you can get the diameter, which is 20 here, and you use the first rule. It's the same. D is 2r. So, but because I have the radius length, so I will use the second rule, which is 2 pi times r equals, pi is given here, it's 2, multiplied by 3.14, which is pi, times r, which is 10, equals 2 times 3.14, it's 8, 2.6 times 10, move the decimal point once to the right, so it will be 62.8 centimeter. Okay, now find the length of the radius of a circle if its circumference is 47.1. I will draw the triangle of circumference with radius. There is a relation between circumference and radius. If I want to get the radius, it's circumference over 2 pi. So r equals circumference over 2 pi equals, circumference is 47.1 over 2 times pi here is 3.14, and I can use my calculator. I want to show you how to use the calculator. My calculator is here. I'm gonna share it with you. Okay. This is the fraction sign. Put C up, which is the circumference, which is 47.1, and use this arrow to go down. It's 2 multiplied by 3.14 equals, on decimal form, it's 7.5. So it's 7.5 centimeter. Okay. There is two rules to get the diameter. It's circumference over pi. To want the radius, it's circumference over 2 pi. Okay, it's very, very easy. Here, and this table, there is radius, diameter, length, pi, and circumference c. If the radius is 14, diameter is twice or double the radius, so it will be 28. Now, how to calculate the circumference? Circumference equal pi times d. So pi is given here as 22/7 times d, which is 28. We can simplify. Divided by 7 equals 1. Divided by 7 equals 4. So 4. So it's 88 centimeters. So I'm going to put 88 here. Now, the diameter is 6. So the radius is half diameter. So it's a 3. Now I can calculate the circumference, which is pi times d equals pi, which is 3.14 times 6 equals 6 times 4 is 24, 8.18, 18.84, okay, centimeter. So I'm gonna put the circumference here, 18.84. Now, the given is the circumference is given here and pi, and I want to calculate the diameter. Diameter equals circumference over pi equals 110 divided by 22/7, which is the pi here, equals, and I will use my calculator. I'm going to share it with you. Okay. Now it's put the fraction here, sign, which is here 110. Circumference, go down. Pi is, no, here 110. I can put it down, but 110 divided by 22/7 equals in 35. Okay. So F, this is the diameter, 35, right? So how to get the radius? 35 divided by 2, 5 divided by 2 is 4, and remainder 1. 35 divided by 2, 1, 2, and 5. 15 divided by 2 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. Remainder 1, 10.5. So it's 17.5 decimeter. Now, which is greater, the perimeter of a rectangle dimensions 7 and 8, or the circumference of a circle of radius 14? So first I will calculate the perimeter of the rectangle Do you remember what's the perimeter of the rectangle? The rule is equals length plus width times 2 equals length is 7 plus 8 times 2. It's 15 times 2 equals 30 centimeter. The circumference, okay, the circumference of the circle equal, I have radius length here, so I'm going to use 2 pi times r equals 2 pi, which is 22/7 times 14, divide by 7 1, divide by 7 2, 88 centimeter. So which is greater? The circumference of the circle is greater. Uh, we finished our lesson for today. See you next lesson, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.